You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening. That's what we're doing tonight. The Carabao Cup draw. How the devil are you? Welcome along. Good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, goodbye. Hello. Welcome along. We're going to see who we're going to get in the big round. We're going to be getting rid of North and South. We're going to let the so-called big teams in. You know, like Tottenham. Oh, no, maybe we're not. What a shame that was. Not. And we're going to find out who we're going to be playing. We're going to see the end of the games here that are playing this afternoon. I think I'm about to watch Daylight Robbery, because if Everton actually manage to pull this off and win this, it will be the biggest smash and grab ever. 5 shots they've had all game, and we are 78 minutes into it, and 3 of those have come from a second half substitute. So that tells you how they're playing. Absolutely awful. But it is LTID TV2 from Leicester Till I Die TV. We're here for the cup draw. This is where you can find us. We're across all your social medias and podcast platforms, as is the gentleman that looks after LTIDD2, and now probably more the shows than I do on this one as well. I think he's just trying to decide whether he wants to lay down on his side or sit up. I think he's going to be sitting up. Brad, hello, sir. We decided what angle you're going to present at.
I've never ever got anything decided with my life, let alone whether I'm going to be this way or that way. So I'll go with this one for now. See how it goes.
I think I might be the other way, but anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm going to be careful what I say. Okay, just say hello to a few people. Doug is in. Good evening, Doug. How are you? Welcome along. Lift is in. Hiya, Lifty. As is Sharky, Nate, Andrew, who says we're going to get Man City. It's early yet. We don't get them till usually about the quarters in it, Brad.
Yes, it's usually a traditional Man City Leicester quarter final. So we've got another round to go.
Yeah, Josh is in. Good evening, Josh. Do check that Josh's channel out, The Foss Way, a new channel that started up for Leicester fans. You hoping for West Ham away? No, I'm not. We'll come on to that in a minute, because I'm actually looking for a different game, I think, to what Brad is. What's this? How can you forget about Tottenham's exit? I was being a little bit cheeky, because I've got to say, not only have I forgotten about it, but, and let me just bring this up here, because I found this extremely hilarious earlier on Google, and I don't know if it's still up there, but please do go on to Google and search for Carabao Cup third round. Is that what I've put there? Or type in third round Carabao Cup, and it brings up earlier those pictures, one of which you can see has got James Maddison in a Tottenham shirt. But when you click on it, it actually brings up the next picture, which doesn't have a Tottenham player on it at all, but has Haaland on. Magic! We used to say it was Cambiasso, but Maddison's magic. He can make himself disappear, Brad.
It does seem that way, you know. I used to coin the phrase on my on the quiz channel, Chris. That will people that come on it end up like Tottenham in a cup, absolutely pointless. And it seems to be, it doesn't matter who they have, they're still just Tottenham and Cups. They have a hated rivalry because Tottenham desperately want to would love to win one, and Cups hate having Tottenham
They
in
just
them.
want to win anything, don't they? Really,
Yeah.
Stuart is back. Good evening, Stuart. I wanted to say, Stuart. Oh, Everton nearly pinching it then. I got to say, Stuart. He got a slap bottom yesterday, but he took it like a true gentleman, understood why, and he's back today. So you are welcome back, Stuart. And he also says, "Hi, Brad. Maybe Liverpool versus Leicester." Facebook user, stick your name on the end, and I know who you are. Scott is in, number 29. Doncaster Rovers or Everton? Well, at this rate, mate, I don't want to get Doncaster Rovers, as they've looked quite good. PSV are up at they're winning 5-1, I believe. 8 goals for Blackburn, Brad. They're having a good day out, aren't they?
Yeah, but it only means the same as Leicester beating Tranmere 2-0. It just means we're in the next round of the cup. But I suppose, in a weird way, being in the Championship, it's good to keep that motor running, isn't it? You don't want to spurs things up, do you, in the cup and go out into a lower league opposition? You want to get the job done. So, yeah, poor Harrogate, show some mercy.
Yes,
but that's just made me laugh.
I know.
I wonder if Ndidi will look at that.
There.
Yeah, I wonder if Ndidi will change his mind and say, actually, Forest isn't for me.
I know. I'm going to ask you about that. Full time, Blackburn have beaten Harrogate 8-0. Fair play to Harrogate.
Close game.
It's tracks only. Is it? I think no, Aduni. Sorry, Amdouni. Another guy that was, as I said to you before we came live, wasn't I, Brad? That the guy who was reporting for the BBC said the only good news about this game is that there's no extra time. So I don't think it's been a particularly brilliant one. But that was the game I wanted to play the winner of. So it would be Burnley now if we get it. And yes, I know if you look at the things that are going across the bottom, it will have things like Harrogate or Blackburn, Forest or Burnley. To be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to be asked to go on and update that. I might do in a minute if Brad can talk for a few minutes.
I can talk, mate. You know that.
Salford at home, it says Sharky. Did they have one disallowed, Doug? Because apparently they were 1-0 up before. I don't know when that goal was 90+1, it says here, for Burnley. I do know that it should have had a penalty for Doncaster, and had there been VAR, they do believe it would have been given. But I fancy Burnley because, I think it'd be nice, Burnley keeping our place warm for them. They've struggled since they went back up. Who was it you wanted, Brad?
I wouldn't mind. Preferably, I want a home time first of all. I always want a home tie, but I want Salford. I'm with Sharky. I'd like Salford at home. They're knocked out Leeds. It's got a bit of a lull to it, and it will come. The third round, Chris, comes off the back of a pretty tricky set of fixtures for Leicester after the international break, because we've got Southampton, Norwich, and then we've got some team that play in red that Anthony supports, Bristol something or other. So after that,
they'll probably end up making tits of themselves.
Yeah,
Bum, or not bum, if you like.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like maybe at that point, Leicester could go and win all their games. It'd be lovely if they did, but you'd feel like if we're coming off the back of potentially beating Bristol City and getting ourselves back on track, I'd kind of much prefer Salford and hopefully do what we've done to Burton and Tranmere to them and kind of hopefully not have to rebuild any damage done by Norwich and Southampton. But you know what I mean? I'd rather keep a run going than have it altered by a dumping from a Premier League side.
But what if we get dumped by...
Well, yeah, there is that, isn't there? Obviously, you could always have the proverbial banana skin, I guess, but you just look at the way they've handled the cup competition thus far against these lower league oppositions, and you just don't see panic in the squad. You don't see unfamiliarity. it wasn't that much of a drastic change in squad for what we've seen throughout the season. So I feel more confident against the lower league oppositions I have done before.
Okay, let me ask you, because there's a couple of games going to penalties, so and it's half an hour probably off the draw. Christensen gone to Bologna for a season's loan with an option to buy, but they don't have to buy.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange and a little bit sad because he was one of the few players that came out and said he was up for the challenge of getting Leicester back to the Premier League, which is always nice, and it's not a nailed on thing that he'll leave come the start of next season. Obviously, the option's probably there because he's probably one of them that people want to have at the club, but we don't know. I mean, the loan could benefit him. It'll obviously benefit Leicester because we've got a bit of a glutton of players that can play in his position. He can go there. He can maybe develop his game, and maybe he comes back with a great review from the scouts that oversee his loan, and he gets a second lease of life at Leicester. Or we recoup our sale money on him, and we wish him all the best. Either way, it's a little bit of a win-win, even if it's not a player we'd like to see go because we actually like him.
Yes. The thing is, though, I mean, if we don't sell him now, we're getting him off the wage bill. There is that, I guess. Because at the end of the day, why have players that we're just not going to get off the wage bill?
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that's very detrimental to Leicester with their signings they've made and where they were last season. Well, I suppose they had to win one game this season, didn't they?
I can't say that if he comes out and says they deserve it or anything like that, it is total BS. Because Everton have been, and I'm sorry if James, if you're in watching this, not seen you for a while. All right, I mean, it's a substitute. He's like a one man team. I think it's the same guy that scored. Is it? No, it's not. No. It was a good run, but they don't deserve it. Watching the game, I feel sorry for Doncaster.
Yeah, I do, and not just because it's Everton. When a lower league side comes up and gets a chance to do an upset, and they play really well by what you're saying, by all accounts, then it's just a little bit like, it'd been nice to have the upset. And I suppose because of last season, it was always a little bit of a fixture. We were hoping the upset would happen, but I suppose Everton can have one win this season, can't they, Chris?
Yeah, and I think good evening, Ant. How are you? Again, another good Leicester channel to go and check out, Ant's Leicester fan channel. I think you've been a bit sarcastic there. I think Coventry are out as well, aren't they? I think they've both gone out, mate. I think you're doing the old wooden spoon a little bit there. I said this. I suppose with Doncaster because I was involved very much with that with the charity games that we played against them when Paul Dickoff was the manager. If you remember, we played them the last game of the season, and we both lost a fan at the game. I think ours was outside, theirs was actually in the ground, and we played a couple of charity games. So I've got a soft spot for Doncaster, if I'm honest with you. So I do feel a bit sorry for them.
Yeah, I do as well, and I think we've got a bit of a rotten history when we played Doncaster last game of the season. Because I think someone might correct me in the comments. I know for a fact former Leicester player Richie Wellens.
Breaking news: Lincoln have beaten Sheffield United on penalties.
Oh, that's a bit of a shock. That's a bit of a shock to the system. But I think
because you've got the Premier League side technically, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it is a shock to the system in that case. But as I was saying, because I think Doncaster don't like playing this last game of the season. I think when we were promoted as champions back in the 13-14 season, they went down because they lost to us. So we've got a bit of a history, although Doncaster fans might have wished the results were a bit better. But yes, it's a bit of a soft spot for Doncaster myself.
Yeah, I think that was the game where I think we won. We were up. We were champions. And it didn't really matter. And I think at one point we were even shouting for Schmeichel to take a penalty.
Yes, we were, because I think he was the only outfield player that hadn't scored or something
even
like
that. I think he'd scored that season. Come on, Doncaster, they're having a go at it. Burnley are through as well. So I am updating these as we speak. But so I do have a soft spot for Doncaster. I feel sorry for them. And Everton, I mean, like I say, you, they haven't even looked. If you had to look at that, and I've got to be honest with you, I've only watched the second half. I didn't even see the first half when they were absolutely pummeled. 16 shots to Doncaster, 3 or something to Everton. You had to look at that and go, which team is the Premier League team?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's where that old say of Premier League quality, and I use the word Premier League quality and Everton in the same sentence very, very, very lightly. But that's normally where the golf shows, doesn't it? Because you get the feeling that even somebody of a championship quality, if they have 16 shots against that poor Everton side, they win that tie easily. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, sad as it is, Doncaster have blown that opportunity to really have kept Everton, Middlesbrough, Everton, Middlesbrough. That's a great sentence. I meant to say miserable. I still can't say it now.
How many attempts do you want?
6.5, if that's all right, mate. But no, but I mean the thing is though, I mean only just squeaking past Doncaster. I think there'll be some Everton fans that are really unhappy with the performance, despite the fact they've gone through. They'll be really have wanted probably or hoped.
Yeah, I went onto Doug's channel the other night. I think he was. I can't remember what the show was. Sorry, Doug. And I said, are Everton just keeping Leicester's seat warm for us? Because they're just looking. If they had come down, there's no way they would be in the position we are now.
Oh yeah, they'd be struggling to boot. They'd probably have a similar outcome to Leeds. I mean, they have financial troubles. I mean, we talk about conspiracies, and I'm going to say allegedly here. Allegedly, that they, if they'd have gone down, they'd have been docked lots of points. That might have been why some certain decisions went their way. I don't know, but I'm just saying, Chris. I'm just allegedly putting it out there. But I think it would have been an absolute disaster for a club like Everton financially. Yeah. And I think they'd be struggling like Leeds with the season. I think they'd have had a mass exodus, and they'd have struggled to attract players. I mean, they're in the Premier League, and Connor Cody famously chose us over them, and that tells you what the prospect is between both clubs are looking. So we still might swap places with them. Karma might still get them, and we might still be better off for it in the long run.
I mean, I don't think the new ground would go ahead if they came down. I mean, that time we got promoted, I did relegated. Thankfully, we built the stadium before we went down. Otherwise, we could have still been in Filbert Street. We're into 94 minutes of the 93 that we're supposed to have played. So we are in extra ninjury time, double ninjury time at the moment. Doncaster extremely lucky, Everton extremely lucky. So Salford's the one, and I can't update that up there. I can't update the graphic, but I'm updating the details below. I wish he'd blow his bloody whistle because I'm waiting to update it here and take one of them out. But yeah, the so-called big boys are coming in. Oh, oops, who fell over? The so-called big boys are coming in next round. But no Southampton. Sorry, no Southampton, no Spurs. Sorry.
Oh dear, what a shame. Well, it's right, they're allergic to cup competitions. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, less game time for Maddison to get in the England side, isn't it? Oh no, wait, he's joined the big loving. I mean, the big six. So he could not play a game this season. He'd be in for England. So
yes,
I suppose that's one thing. I mean, at least Richarlison didn't score, take his shirt off, get booked, and then watch his team lose. Oh wait, no, that £50 million for one goal. Sorry, I'm just fine digging at Spurs because it's Spurs. Oh dear.
Yeah. What we're saying here.
Lots of people commenting. It's good to see. I hope they're all smashing the like button as well.
Cup, yeah. Always nice to see smaller teams causing upsets. Congrats. No, Ant.
They'll get an open top bus out for it, Ant.
The new ground is basically. Oh, sorry, I forgot you're an honorary Everton fan, Ant. Should have been less. Well, we weren't good enough over 38 odd games,
Yeah.
Everton are warm in your seat. Yes, indeed they are. You're as bad as me for getting your words out. Benny, I'm loving the Marquesa era so far. I think we all are.
Yeah.
Everton need to appoint the only man with a proven track record, Brendan Rodgers. No, he's doing it big. And thanks for telling everybody it's on Sky. I would have really liked them to have stopped in here and watched it, but cheers for promoting where it's on, mate. You're a friend. Has a championship won the championship and a cup on the same season? Ooh, good question, Scott.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Swansea were a Premier League side, weren't they, when they beat Bradford? They weren't Championship.
Mm.
Birmingham were Premier League when they won it. Oh, that's a question. Give me time to think on that one. I don't think so. Middlesbrough got relegated Premier League. Wigan Premier League. I don't think any championships club has ever won a cup, let alone got promoted. I can't remember. Hull City. They lost to Arsenal.
Nobody I can think of. If anybody's in the chat that knows, I'm sure they will reply. Right, so up above, it's still got the 1 or 2s, but below, it should be all up to date. Just quickly want to touch on this. Chelsea have bought Cole Palmer for 40 million. It's not coming to Leicester then.
Well, if Chelsea want to keep spending billions and billions and billions and billions, then fine, they can have him. It's one of them.
Players do they need?
Apparently, 400.
It's making Forest look like like a five-a-side team, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this guy, he's getting on my nerves already. And I know I'm never a favourite of the Americans coming from the pond to the British football, because they only believe in soccer, even though you play the sport with your foot and you kick a ball, so then the clues in the question. But anyway, does he just think he's playing one big giant game of Monopoly or something? Because it's just ridiculous.
It is.
It's almost like he's brought a club that's in the top 6 and will never have to suffer with FFP.
Yeah.
But sorry, that was just to a certain company. No fingers were involved towards the people watching.
Dan's in. By God, Dan, that sounded like it was a boring game, but at the end of the day, you're through. Who cares? So this is what we said, wasn't it? Blackburn had put 8 past Harrogate. Burnley had the boring game of the night, according to the BBC, against Forest, but they're both through into the next round, so it doesn't matter,
Yeah, that's very true. At the end of the day, the result gets the same outcome, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many likes on this video, Chris, but I just looked up there. We just peaked at 110 viewers. I hope you're all supporting the channel by smashing a like button and subscribing if you're new. It's great to see so many of you in, ready for the draw.
Yes.
I don't know if any Spurs fans are around, so we can see your reaction to you getting a. Oh, well, no, sorry, my mistake.
No. You're being silly now. You're being silly. Can I just say, I have realised who I really desperately want in the cup in the next round. I want it to be somebody that means that we're not going to get shown on the telly. Because last night, on the show from last night, Brad, we've peaked at 3.6 thousand views.
Yeah, go on then. Give us someone that no one cares about. We'll have them in a couple of episodes.
Thank you. I mean, my subscriptions went through the roof. Thank you very much to everybody who subscribed. I mean, it was the most, and I wasn't. I don't know how many people actually through this show sort of subscribed and then didn't subscribe. I got to the point where I said, I'm not fucking saying that where you can find the stream. There isn't one. And actually, I think Nate was doing it for me, bless him. He was telling everybody was coming in going, where are you watching it? We're not, just fucking listen to Chris, will you? I was reporting off a bloody AI thing on.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant.
But yeah, so whoever it is, Sky, fuck off. Don't put it on telly, whatever you do.
Yeah, just give us someone crap that no one cares about. Yeah, that'll do. Just anyone that no one cares about. We'll happily have that again, won't we, Chris?
Exactly. Can I just say that if you can't get to the game to watch us play in Hull, that's not on telly either. So you can
Get
listen
over
to it,
here. Get over
not
here.
watch it. Nate saying, good evening, Nate. I was about to start saying you set up hidden cameras at the ground. Shh, shh. What I don't get is there's obviously cameras there because we had I must admit the first, I don't know if you saw the first video that LCFC put up, there was no highlights from the first half at all.
Yes, I did. I did notice that. I told you how bad the half was.
Cheers, Dan.
God.
Cheers. Thank you very much. The draw is I'm gonna say 10:15, but you know what the Carabao Cup is like.
Yeah, it could be 10:15 tomorrow morning. The way they can do draws.
Yeah. Although in the past, I don't necessarily think Sky have been invited. I don't know. It will be one when it's on. I remember one time it was about an hour late. God, I've never spoken so much BS in my life. And for me, you think I'd have plenty of practice at it. But yeah, that's who I want anyway. So thank you to everybody who came on and I don't. God knows what I was commentating on because, of course, on the AI they don't swap it at half time, so they're still kicking the. Oh, God knows what. We got through it. Look, I want to ask you this, if I can, before we actually get to the draw itself. People, please stick in your. Very true. Anne says they're going to get through 455,000 ads first. Stick in the chat who you would like your team to get, and we'll go through that afterwards. But I just want to I want to touch on this if I can, Brad. I think you said 11 points on Twitter earlier, and I'm going to have to make that big because my eyes aren't that bloody good. Let me just make it bigger, as the actress said to the Archbishop. Look, we've got. Played 6, won 6, 4 in the league, 2 in the cup, top of the table. Piece of fucking piss, this championship, isn't it? I know I said that before, but bloody hell.
Yeah, we're seeming to go about it the right way, aren't we? Showing that that reconditioning is a short-lived effect, and we seem to be taking to the championship with a plum. I assumed, I get the feeling it's going to get harder, especially with three away games.
Excuse me. Somebody that came on at half time and scored 1 goal got man of the match for Everton.
Tells you how shite they were. Tells you how shit they were.
That was Carabao just wanting to get their name with the Premier League club. I'm sorry. I could have picked 4 or 5 just on the second half, Doncaster fan. Sorry, I'm getting annoyed watching this. Back to you. Back to you in the studio, Brad.
Cheers, Jeff. Cheers, Jeff. We'll get you back over there. I think this is going to be the toughest test for Leicester. There's obviously Rolls Eyes, an international break after the weekend. So, that might affect momentum. You wouldn't like to think it, but I said earlier to a few fans that, do you remember last season? The only good part of last season, we didn't lose till 4 for 5 games. We came back after the international break, got stomped on by Newcastle in about 12 minutes. So we all know what happened from there. And I don't think that would ever happen to us this season, but Southampton and Norwich away straight after the international break, it's not a momentum killer that you really want. So you're hoping Leicester can go away for it. I think if we can get through that, because that obviously the third round goes in between the Bristol and the Blackburn game there.
Yeah.
You would like to say we'd get some momentum back underway in them 3 games. So that's why I went for 11 points. Because honestly, I think if we get 11 points, whether that's drawing at Southampton and beating Norwich and or drawing with Blackburn and beating them too, or however you get that where that point comes from, you're going to beat them through them. You start thinking about who you're playing next season, don't you? You start thinking about what who it's going to be next season in the Premier League, who we're replacing. So because you would argue and say, if you was to think 3 teams that are going to really try and compete with Leicester to get automatic promotion, you'd say Norwich, Southampton, and because Leeds have had a bad start, probably Blackburn will be a name that want to throw the name into that mix. So come out of that relatively unscathed, and I think the division's ours for the taking, realistically.
We are about 15 minutes away from the draw, the BBC have just said. So
So, time for another 600
yeah,
adverts.
yeah. And guys, I don't know. I'm going to say it now. No spoilers in the chat because we're all going to be watching different things. Somebody will be watching Sky. Somebody's got to have it up on the BBC website. Somebody's on, for example, I'm on Sky, but via a Fire Stick. So we're all going to be seeing it at different times. I'm going to ignore comments from the moment that the draw starts. I will not even be reading comments out, and I'm going to ask Brad to do the same. So there'll be no comments while the actual draw goes on. Just to let you know that. For me, I think Southampton and Norwich are the two games.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, Southampton away on a Friday. You know, I mean, who knows? Who knows what can happen?
Yeah, 6-1-9 of the other, isn't it, mate? So,
Yes. Yeah.
it all depends.
Yeah.
I'd love a repeat of that. I really would.
Yeah. And Norwich, obviously second at the moment, so that could be a tale of two cities. See what I did there?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Leicester can cause another earthquake when they play
Yes.
Norwich.
Maybe
Yeah,
they
see.
can. And I don't wish Nigel any bad. You know, I like Nigel a lot. I've got a lot of time from Nigel Pearson, but I can see us. I can see us beating them. There's only two of those at home. Three of them are away.
Yeah, and that's why I think it'd be a crunch time. And I ummed and ahed between saying something like 9 points and giving us an unbeaten run, but I committed to it because I feel like we can nick something from Southampton. I think they're going to be the toughest test because of scoring goals. I think we're more capable of beating Norwich because they're doing really well, but they're not always on the ball scoring goals wise. And I think Leicester can eke out the win there. And then I actually like the fact that Bristol City is away because if we can get through them and we're still on a really good hype, I hate to say it, I love Nige, and as much as we tease him, I love Anthony as well. But I feel like that could be that one result where, when we've talked about this before, Chris, and I'm sure everybody, Leicester fans have been saying it themselves amongst each other, but I think that might be a game where we give someone a walloping. That could be the first walloping we give out this season.
We've said there's got to be a walloping coming up soon. You know, the interesting thing is though, obviously after the international break, we've got sort of weekend, midweek, weekend.
Yes, which you've got to get used to. There's going to be other periods throughout the season where we have this Saturday, Tuesday sort of thing, and then and obviously the longer we stay in the cup competitions, the longer that will continue as well. You know, because the Carabao Cup will be a midweek game, so it's for us it's going to be even longer than others.
Yeah.
But it will test this strength. This period coming up after the international break, Chris, is the really testing period. This is where, for me, the Championship starts to settle down. Where like the top 10, maybe at a stretch top 11, doesn't really change its personnel. It maybe changes its order, but really you probably have your set top 10 sides that will continue throughout the rest of the season to battle for them top 6 spots to be in with a shout for promotion. And if Leicester come out of that as well as they've done the first 4 games, then for me it's all but nailed on that we'll be in the promotion picture come May at the end of the season, one way or another.
Yeah. Right, so Lifty wants Liverpool at Anfield. I think he's a West Ham fan there. Let's just get past. Cheers, Doug. 181 watching now, 22 likes. Just smash those likes. It really, 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 really does help the channel. Because it gets us seen on people who wouldn't normally see our channel. So there we go. Let's do that. Fulham at home, says Facebook. Lifty says, hit that like button. 5 more wins than we have matched the total. I actually looked at that the other day thinking, have we matched it yet? Because we had 9 wins all season in the Premier League. That's what we've got to remember. That was in the league, not in the cups. F1 says he doesn't want to play at home. He says it's too boring. Please, Man City. Enzo versus... No, because then it'll be on the telly, Luke. No, we don't want that. I said we don't want to be on the telly. I know, yeah, it is. It's horrendous. It is. It's all set up for Manchester. Now, Josh, no, it'll, as I say, a couple of rounds too early for Man City. And if we do,
we'll get them in the final.
Yeah, or Chelsea. That's the other favourite one we normally get, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Or Spurs. Oh no, wait. Sorry, I forgot. Not Spurs. They're an FA Cup side. We get them in there, and they're not in this one already.
Doug. I'm not. I'll just leave that one there for everybody because you'll start me on my fish jokes, but Brad, this is just for you. Not Brad, sorry, Doug. I mean, this is just for you.
I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you.
Yes, and I have got a contract, you know. Yeah, I have, Doug. Yeah. It used to be a pay-as-you-go, but I've now got a contract phone. So there we go. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Wah, 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 wah. Look, I do at least 10 of these every morning on the radio show. So
oh dear, you poor listeners. I mean, do you?
Excuse me, no, drop the S off, please. Don't pick me up, you know.
Sorry.
Let's have a look. It feels like it'll be Burnley, company. That would be, yeah. I mean, I've said Burnley, haven't I? I have said Burnley.
Yeah.
Dan's feeling confident there. I'll take it. I mean, how's it going back in the Premier League, Dan? Oh, yes. Played 2, lost 2. I'm sorry, I forgot that, wasn't it? And you scraped past Forest in the 91st minute. Yeah. Bring it on. You watch that. We'll get them now. They'll stuff us 5-0.
Yeah. No, look.
Boldy versus slightly more Boldy. Hey, stop having to go at people with a slight lack of the older hair on the top of the head. Short arse. Hello, Ant. Can just see it now. Drinking, getting ready to go out. Beating Southampton 3-0 away. Life is good. Only 3, Luke. Only 3. Oh.
Well, he's drinking, so he fallen asleep at 3-0. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm going to just say that was another of those moments when I proved to my son that I know absolutely fuck all about football, because at half-time, when it was 5-0, I turned around to him and said, we know second half's going to be boring. I think we're that far ahead now. We've scored 4 more. But then again, I did exactly the same with him when Liverpool were playing AC Milan in the Champions League. And at half-time, I went, that's it. We might as well not watch the rest of it. And, of course, Liverpool came back, went to penalties. Was it Shevchenko that was playing for AC Milan? And I went, I put my mortgage on him scoring. This is why I'm moving slowly into radio. I know a little bit more about that.
And it's why you stay away from the bookies, is it, Chris?
Yes. Oh, Daniel. You'll find out in 9 months, mate. You're only keeping our seat warm. And look,
yeah.
I have got a special jingle, haven't we, just for Danny Boy.
The Premier League? That's so last season. It's all about the Championship here on LTID TV.
Now that's what I call football.
You hit the right spot.
I mean, just so Dan, maybe in his suffering times as a Burnley fan right now watching league football, Dan, Championship is where winning happens, mate. It's what we call a reserve spot, and what Leicester are doing right now is we're just reminding you, when you switch over and watch us play, that's how you play football and how to win it, right? So when you get used to seeing it again next season, mate, that's all it is. It's what division is.
I know. All I will say is, you've never really properly thanked us for that, Lifty. I mean, you beat us 2-1 and you scored all 3 goals. I remember that happening once before. I think under Jock Wallace, didn't it? Where we beat Liverpool 2-1. It was the first time they'd lost at home in about a season and a half, and we did the double over them and we got relegated, which is so typical of Leicester, really.
It's about right. Yeah, God, they were some weird and wonderful days on the job, weren't they? But yeah, it all happens.
I thought you were Liverpool, but when you said you wanted to play Liverpool at home, I'm like, no, you can't be a Liverpool fan then. Mind you, I suppose it is one way of making sure you win a game. I don't think Klopp's worked that one quite out yet. But if Liverpool play Liverpool, at least Liverpool will go. Mind you, probably end up a fucking draw, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to see Jurgen Klopp wanted to probably win the Carabao Cup after he dismerged it a couple of years ago when they played that Cash Cow Cup, that Club Winners Club World Cup. Well, he didn't want to be in it then, did he? So I'm good joking aside, it's good to see Liverpool fans that are actually taking the competition for something they want because it's funny how it changes when you're still in it, isn't it?
Look, let's be honest with you. Once you get past this so-called, and I'm not saying this of anybody that's it's in the chat at the moment because I think we're all sort of proper football fans. But every club has them. We know every club has them. What are they called? Dickheads. And we should be in the Champions League. We had it when we were in the Europa. We finished fifth. Well, we should have been in the Champions League. The fact that we were fifth in the previous season, we'd been 10th or something. But look, you take what it is. It's football. It's what it's all about, isn't it? Josh, I'm trying to see this season as taking a breather.
46 game pre-season, mate. That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yes. And we had this when we went down to League One. It's just nice to win game. Dan, you remember what winning was like, in the league. And look, the thing is, and this is what worries me about the fact that we are signing all these players. Although the queue of players waiting to leave is a bit like the queue of Nottingham Forest, players at the job centre at the moment. But there's a lot leaving. But I'm worried that, if we do get promoted, we're then only going to have half a squad because everybody's going to have to go back to the parent clubs.
Well, yeah, there is that. I mean, we do have the weird little ins and outs on a few of them loan signings, so maybe they not all go back to the parent clubs. But I suppose that's the joy of the division, isn't it? You become a little bit reliant, and I would on loan signings, and I would say Leicester have got the perfect mix right now. I know there's potential for one more to still come through the door, but if you're telling me that half your loanee signings have a potential to become a very cheap part of the squad in terms of value for what some of these loans have in conjunction with them, with fees and on dependence on appearances, obviously, but. I think we've done it quite well, actually. I would say, I know. I'm not saying on a talent level basis here. I'm saying on a clear out and a rebuild structure. I think Leicester right now, with just over 2 days to go of the window, Leicester have probably had a 10 out of a 10 transfer window at the moment. And I can't remember the last time I said that about a Leicester City transfer window.
It certainly wasn't last summer, was it?
What transfer window? You could argue that one.
Exactly. Marco, the draw is happening 4.5 minutes ago. So that's all I can say. Look, it has been a good window. And we have to accept that Enzo's come in and he plays a different style. He doesn't play with fullbacks. He plays with this inverted fullbacks. I've completely lost with all this false nine inverted fullbacks, innies and outies. I just thought they were belly buttons, but but he's come in and the players he wants aren't the players that we've got. So what can we do? We move. There's no point in keeping players that aren't going to play well because they're not players that fit into his, his thinking.
Yeah, it's almost like we've got a manager in charge that isn't trying to put square blocks in round holes, isn't it? You know what I mean? It sounds like we've got a manager who goes, I want to play this way, so I'm going to get rid of the players that won't fit that way, and I'm going to bring in players that do. It's almost like he's making this transfer business seem really simple. Like you buy players that suit your system, and you don't keep players that don't. So maybe it's always been this easy. Maybe it doesn't take to be a mastermind or a rocket scientist in the transfer market. But there you go.
I think it's if you know what you're doing, it's simple, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it is. I suppose if you've got a brain cell and you're not a complete bellend, you know
Yeah.
how to do the transfer
Oh,
market.
Bellend.
There you go. You said it.
What a show. What a show, ladies and gentlemen. I make sure it gets played. Don't you worry.
Right. Let's
Oh, for
see.
fuck's sake, dog.
Oh, I'm not even
I'm
on that
not.
screen. Is it another bad one?
I'm not. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Chris.
Actually, well, one of us can
There
kick him
you
out,
go.
you know.
There you go. I'll just get it out of the way. I've
I
decided to
haven't
sell
read
my
that.
Hoover. It's just gathering.
Oh,
I'm not angry, Doug. I'm just very disappointed.
Doug, how long have I known you? Right? It's probably coming up to 2 seasons. That was the first joke you ever told me. And the worrying thing is now is that you've run out of jokes and you've gone right the way back to the first one and we're going to go through them all again. I don't know if I could do that or not. It's,
I mean, Sharky's got the comment underneath that poetically sums up what I think of Doug in his joke there. I know he means it about Brendan, but Sharky put a comment underneath with a bell and the word end and point, and I thought, Doug tells that joke.
He probably is talking about.
He might be, Doug, he might be. That joke's getting to that pain.
Oh, dear. Russ is Russ. Hello, it's been ages. How the devil are you?
Ali Russ, hope you're well.
Yeah, not seen you for a while. Lifty says, Doug, mate, we literally sold our Hoover in the centre defensive midfield to our Etihad. I mean, look, Christensen's gone. I don't think they wanted to buy him. I think we wanted to sell him, but they only wanted the deal, so it's better to get him off the wage bill. Castagna's gone. So that's 2 established fullbacks gone.
Yeah, which maybe puts a close to the Luke Thomas deal. I don't see that going ahead now because Christensen has officially left us out on loan.
Yeah.
Because we need cover in that area.
Yes.
I know one at the start of the season, before Christensen was rumoured to be going and now has gone, I would have been happier to see Luke Thomas go out on loan and develop. We can't be getting rid of too many because it's nice. I'd rather have the depth there than all of a sudden.
That is the worry, isn't it? That is the worry.
Yeah, that is the worry. I know I'd get fired for it because it means missing 2 shows. But I'd like to go to sleep tonight and wake up and sat there, no one's left, and the transfer window's all done because I'm terrified about certain names that people are popping up actually leaving us, like I think Ndidi or Nacho. I want that window to close.
I know. Right, so they stood outside getting ready to make the draw. I'm not sure whether I can do this or not, but let me just see here if I can edit this.
I forgot to say, I know he's done it for a laugh, but for God's sake.
What I'm trying
Go on, what are you trying?
is... Right, so I am turning comments off, guys, simply because there'll always be an idiot that comes in. I don't know whether that's worked or not, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know if that was just a flux of last-minute comments.
I know, and I was just wondering that. Scott, if you're there, or if you are there, can you try and type something in?
Yeah. If nothing comes up within the next minute, we'll know it's kind of hopefully done.
Yeah, so I've made it to approved users.
But
I haven't approved any users.
But
Stuart, you are on Facebook, so...
no, and Doug and Scott.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, I'll keep an eye on it. If anyone spoils it,
Well, no,
If
I'm
anyone's,
going to go large, so I can't even see it. So I'm not
yeah,
going to. So Ipswich are out, and they are at home to Wolves. Ipswich are Wolves.
sorry, I didn't mean to bring that comment up. So there you go. Okay. No, for God's sake, I didn't mean to put it up.
Exeter.
Go away. Oh,
Exeter at home to. And I'll go back afterwards and delete anybody who's been commenting on the draws. Exeter at home to Luton, number 14. We're number 12. We are number
oh,
12. Aston Villa at home.
oh, Telemans. They'll get Wolves. Go on, give them Wolves.
29. Aston Villa at
Everton.
home to Everton.
Oh,
16. Manchester United. So Manchester United are at home. Oh, number 8. They are at home to Crystal Palace. Get it on the telly. Get it on the telly.
on the telly, yeah. Oh, Roy Hodgson knocking out Ten Hag or
Yeah.
Two Hag or whatever
22.
you want to call them.
Port Vale are at home.
Give them number 10. Go on.
Number 25.
Yeah.
Sutton United.
Oh, it's not a bad one. Go on, Sutton. I have a soft spot for Sutton from my football manager days, taking them to the Premier League. So I wouldn't have minded Sutton, actually. Always risking being naughty here, folks.
To Middlesbrough. Bournemouth are at home to Stoke. I just think it's probably easier to do that, to be honest with you. Bournemouth are at home to Stoke. So there comes the next game. Lincoln are home to West Ham.
It rules out West Ham for us then. Okay.
Yes. Told you Burnley is still there for us. Number 5.
Ooh, Brentford.
Yes, Brentford are going to play. Arsenal. Brentford are playing Arsenal.
Well, we all know what.
Telly. Get it on the telly. Chelsea are playing Brighton. Get it on the telly. Get it on the telly.
Oh, so it's basically Brighton versus Brighton then, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot of Premier League all Premier League games here. So I think we could be seeing those on the telly. So there's a lot of Premier League games. Almost 3 on a trot there, isn't it? Number 23. Salford City. This is who
Here
you
we
wanted.
go. I need number 12 now.
Yes. 31. No, it's not us. Salford will be playing Burnley. Oh, a local derby.
Salford are going to beat you. They're going to smash you down.
That's Burnley out.
There's your one win for the season, mate.
Oof, that was close. Fulham.
Oh, I tell you what, it's the one time I want my dad's team to win because of Chris Castagno.
Norwich City. Fulham versus Norwich City.
Oh. Ooh, that sounds good.
Man City out yet? Or Chelsea? We can't get Chelsea.
You get Man City. Still get Man City.
Blackburn. Come on.
Oh, no, not Blackburn.
Let's get the bigger East Lancashire team.
They can have Ipswich if they still.
I don't believe it. They're playing Cardiff. Another championship game.
Oh, dear. Get it on the telly. Get it on the telly.
Number 13. Liverpool, I think.
No! Yes. Here we go.
Yes, Liverpool, Leicester. Liverpool will be hosting Leicester City in the next round.
Oh well, it was nice being in the cup, weren't it, Chris?
It was. We can concentrate on the league, can't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we can. We didn't want to win the League Cup anyway. It's a Mickey Mouse competition.
It is. Well, why are we even in it? You know, I
Yeah.
mean, we've had 2 games, which is as most as we would expect. I mean, normally 2 games would take us through to the semi-final.
Yeah. Oh, don't put it on the telly. Don't put it on the telly.
What do you reckon? And I think there's games there that are likely to get on the telly first, aren't there? Really?
Yeah, but an Italian taking on a German in a football match.
Yeah, that's true. Right, that's
Leicester's
it.
Enzo.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends, doesn't it?
Newcastle, sorry, just to say, Newcastle at home to Manchester City, and Mansfield at home to Peterborough. I've got to say, out of all the top teams we could have played, no disrespect, I know Lifty's in, I know Doug's in. Liverpool don't scare me at the moment.
No, we're used to losing to them. Let's face it. And you know, if we're going to go out to a team and take them on, Virgil van Dijk gets sent off. You know, who knows? I mean, we could still cause an upset. Enzo Ball could be in full flow by then. Might beat them, but
yeah.
At least if we're going to go out, it's to a Premier League side, isn't it, Chris? That's the one thing you can probably say about it. Is that
Lifty and Doug are going off on one here? We can't get rid of you. We're trying, Doug. We're doing our best to get rid of you.
Yeah, we even left the division.
I watched a game the other day. I think Liverpool. I was not impressed with you. I mean, Trent should have gone off. I stopped watching it, and I don't think that you played that well. To be honest with you, who did you play the other day?
They beat Newcastle though, didn't they? It was Newcastle.
Yeah.
And you should never, especially not in Newcastle shoes, you should never lose a game when you're playing against 10 men. So look, it's one of them where it's a win-win for Leicester, isn't it? It's a little bit of pre-match practice for when we return to the Premier League. And if we lose, we're not expected to win. And if we win, we cause an upset. And Jurgen Klopp probably then cries about playing too many games a season because he loses one. So, you know, could have been worse. I would have felt a bit better about it being at home. But when you said Liverpool first, I thought, oh, God, it's just one of them. But I mean, we'll enjoy it, make a day of it.
All joking aside, they stuffed us pre-season.
Yeah, well, that counts for nothing. We don't care about that.
I mean, we did look good for about 15 minutes, and then they just went bad, didn't they? You know.
Yeah, well, you know, we give them a pre-start in what we can do. We'll hopefully be closer to 100% by then. So who knows? I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, it's win-win for Leicester. If we go out, we're expected to, and if we go through, we're showing the Premier League what they're getting next season.
Yeah, I mean, there is that, isn't there? I mean,
sorry, go on.
I think that season, I think when we met Tranmere, one of the seasons, we'd had it so easy to get to the League Cup final. We'd played a lot of none of the so-called big teams, and yet the year before, I think it was the year maybe we lost to Spurs. Oh God, did I forgot about that? But the season before, I think we'd won like 3 games via penalties or something. We'd really hard on ourselves, you know.
Yeah, we did. We beat Leeds on penalties. We beat Fulham on penalties, and I think we even in the 5th round of the FA Cup beat Arsenal on penalties. So we were the penalty kings throughout that one until, like I said, the League Cup final. So it was.
No, we don't want it on the telly, Ant. We don't want it on the telly at all. No.
No, we don't. You guarantee it will be, though, won't it? Liverpool and Leicester are always on it.
All Premier League games.
Well, you'd like to think that would take the limelight.
I mean, Newcastle. We know Newcastle, Man City is going to be one of them.
Yes, definitely 100%. I mean, the 2 richest clubs out there are guaranteed to buy the way onto telly if they're not already on it. So that's going to be one. Yeah. Maybe they get moved to a Wednesday and we take the Tuesday slot. I'd hope not, just so we can kind of not have to watch it if it's a massacre. But we'll see, won't we? We'll be a few more games into the season. Hopefully, Leicester will be a few more wins under the belt. Yeah. And if we'll see, it's going to be an interesting one.
Newcastle, this is the BBC. Newcastle versus Manchester City, probably the biggest tie of the round. Chelsea versus Brighton, a good one too, in the basically everybody derby.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
So
Yeah.
you would think, I mean, let's just run through these. I mean, there's a lot. Started off quite. I mean, Ipswich Wolves, not really particularly bothered on that one. You've got to say with that one, I'm just trying to get the full draw up here, to be honest with you, if I can. Ipswich Wolves is one that doesn't really do an awful lot for me. Exeter Luton, again, yeah, that's not going to be. Villa Everton, now that could be on the telly because Everton, having said that, Villa have turned it round, haven't they? Villa are basically on a really good run at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They've got a good manager in charge, so he's proven the right. I mean, I suppose the only thing we'd get out of that is we'd get to see Yuri Tillemans watch Everton get smashed from the bench. So
Yes, yeah. I've got to say, to be honest with you, Lifty, I only watched the first half, so I don't know how good you were in the second half. I was only going on that first half when I think Trent decided that the best way to defend is just to knock everybody out. Then so you got Villa Everton, that's the Premier League. Man United Palace, probably not a. Because if it's like this round, there's only 2 games on the telly, one on the Tuesday, one on the Wednesday. So I'm guessing this will be the same.
yeah, I'd imagine so. I'd imagine that they'd only have 2 games on. They might change the kickoff time and have a spread over 2 channels. I don't know if they really fancy it, but it's usually one on one day and one on the other night, isn't it?
It will pee me off a little bit if they do that because they couldn't do that when. Well, look, I mean, Port Vale playing Sutton United, right? That's not going to get anywhere near the TV screens now the big boys are in, is it? Let's be honest with you.
No.
We probably only got on against Burton because we no disrespect, we were the biggest team of all those that were in the competition at that point because of our recent history. And I'm not bigging us up, but because of what we'd recently won. So if they can't put 2 games on to show a Port Vale Sutton United type tie, they shouldn't be putting 2 games on the same night just because it's Premier League. They probably will.
Very true.
They shouldn't,
Yeah.
on that. Bradford, Middlesbrough. No, that's not going to get any on the telly. Bournemouth, Stoke. I mean, Bournemouth were lucky last night, but I'm not sure. Lincoln, West Ham. I don't think that will be. Now Brentford, Arsenal. That because of course they've had recent history, haven't they? So that could be a featured game. But I think the Chelsea, Brighton will be Salford, Burnley. It's a local derby and it potentially should be on the telly, but again, I'm not sure. Liverpool, Leicester could be. Newcastle, Manchester City obviously will be. So I think, and then obviously Mansfield, Peterborough. They're not sneak on the telly. No, I'm joking. I mean, to me, it would be Newcastle, Man City one day and Brighton, Chelsea the next.
Yeah, that sounds like the logical one. They're the 2 games you'd think they're going to bring in. Let's face it, they're going to bring in the viewing. They're going to bring in the revenue for Sky and for Carabao. So it makes a logical sense. Never rule anything past and putting our game on, but you would say there's more mouth-watering ties. It's probably the better word to say than ours against Liverpool.
And at the end of the day, we do have to remember, like it or lump it, the TV broadcasters are putting a hell of a lot, and they are paying a lot of money for the rights to show football matches. They are going to want to play the games that are going to attract the bigger audiences. I mean, let's be honest with you, if you sat over there sort of in America, are you going to think, oh, I must say, Blackburn are playing Cardiff, I'm going to need to watch that? No, you're not, are you? But, Newcastle, Man United. So you've got to sort of take off the tinted spectacles and go, yeah, we understand why.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do that. You have to just take it as it is. And it's not the worst thing not being on telly in that scenario. For you, it's there. For you, definitely. For us, definitely not. But it shows where the business is, because if you was doing it for a football base to help clubs out, Port Vale Sutton would be the game, but it's not going to bring them any money in, is it? Sky are not going to get any money from it, and Carabao aren't going to get much money for it. So common sense prevails in the business aspect of football that it's going to be, Man City, Newcastle, and some other game that will be then the Chelsea Brighton one.
What it says here is that Anonymous messaged into the BBC saying, "Man United home draw, surprise, surprise."
Yeah.
And then the BBC have come back with, yes, the big conspiracy, not just a 50-50 chance. Yeah, yes, all right, BBC. Yeah. We know you're not exactly independent, are you? But there we go. So that's it. We got Liverpool. You never know. It's the cup. I mean, when does the Europa start for Liverpool?
Don't know. To be honest, it might be in and around that time. I think it can't be too far off, can it? It's usually September, October. It usually gets underway and started.
I'm just looking at their fixtures. So before us, they have got on the Saturday, Liverpool are hosting West Ham.
Yeah, which will be big games if because they're obviously
there at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, and obviously they're both, depending on if their European schedules are starting at that time as well, they'll both be playing European football, because that'd be an interesting game. They'll both want to win that. And
then after that, they've got a little trip to Tottenham.
Oh, well, they could lose to Leicester in the Cup and then go and get, go and Spurs, couldn't they?
They could. I'm just seeing if there's any European games for them around. But it's not like they've got Luton and then Sheffield United.
No, so it's not like they were looking for a chance to rest the players. So that might work in Leicester's favour. They might, step off the gas for Leicester, put out a second string, and we'll never know. It'll be an interesting game either way, won't it, Chris? Hopefully it's not as one-sided as it has been over recent times.
No. They've got, just looking here, they play on the Sunday, which probably means we'll be playing on the Wednesday then.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if we were playing on a Sunday, it'd be a Tuesday game, but it's favouritism, isn't it?
It is. Then they've got us midweek, and then they've got, Spurs. I'm just looking. I don't think their European campaign starts. I'm up to December. It will start before December, surely, but they've got no fixtures. Maybe they don't know who they're playing yet because of... maybe they're still playing playoff games.
I think they might still be playing playoff games, so it might not have a draw yet. And we'll see when that happens.
There's games tonight and tomorrow. There's games.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, don't Aston Villa play Hibernian in their second round qualifier, because that's who they've got in their qualifier, isn't it? Hibs. I mean, it's already 5-0, so that might be why it's not drawn yet.
Yeah, I'm just having a look here. Oh, bloody UEFA, absolutely. Okay, let's have a look. 1st of September, there's games. It doesn't go up after the 1st of September. So on Friday, the 1st of September, which is day after tomorrow, it's the group stage draw.
Well, yeah, I mean, things to take into a factor, West Ham on the weekend. They may be coming off the back of their first Europa League game.
Europa League, aren't they, West Ham and Liverpool?
Yes, because obviously West Ham winning the conference put them in that. So they'll both be waiting for an opportunity to maybe rest or rotate the players. And the League Cup game is usually that for them, isn't it? They usually use the early rounds of the Cup to do that. It's not until, like you say, even the FA Cup these days, it's not until about the quarterfinals that these sort of teams start going for it, especially if they're through or out of the rounds of the European Cups.
Indeed. And Russ, I forgot you were a Leeds fan. Sorry, Russ. You keep your hands off Luke Thomas. You're not having him.
Well, there was a comment earlier that said apparently Luke Thomas was at the Sheffield United game earlier, so apparently that could be a done deal. That sounds like he's there then, by all accounts. Apparently, Luke Thomas was spotted in the crowd, so you might get your wish on that one, Chris, if that's to be true. It was earlier in when the loads coming up when I noticed it. Someone did say that Luke Thomas.
I don't
want him to go in general first, but it sounds like he is going at least to Sheffield United on loan, not Leeds.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right? Yeah. I'm just having a look if there's any more updates. Enzo action. I like that Enzo very, very quickly. I like that Enzo came out and said, "Well, all right, we beat whoever we played. I've forgotten who we played, Tranmere. But I wasn't very happy with the performance, and that's why I made changes."
Yeah, it's good to see. It was very reactionary. It was basically something that we didn't see last season with clear and obvious favouritism. Is Enzo basically is the sort of manager that won't take any slacking. So, so for me, it's good that he's kind of gone, look, I don't care that you've played all these games, whoever they were. We know at least one was obvious, which was Eunice was always going to come on. You'd imagine that was one of the two changes that were planned. I don't know who the other one was. Maybe Ricardo was the other planned one. But to the two that were taken off the playing poor, it's good to see because obviously Enzo's gone, look, you don't turn up and play, you ain't staying on the pitch. So they've always got to keep their performances, no matter the competition, no matter the opponent, to the best because he's not afraid to take you off. There is no special treatment here, and it's good to see. And it's what this team needs is that competition.
He's I am the boss from the start, and even with the likes, excuse me, of Vardy and what have you. I didn't know this, Russ. You're giving me news here. I didn't know we'd blocked the move to Leeds. Did you know that, Brad?
Yeah, do you reckon that maybe has something to do with the fact that they blocked the move for Jack Harrison? Maybe that's a bit of revenge.
Who has left anyway now and gone to Everton?
Yeah, well, I mean, he must love the Championship because he's obviously wanting to play there again very eagerly. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a little bit of spite the face with Leeds. I don't know, but maybe it was.
If he's going to Sheffield United, it sounds like if we blocked him going to Leeds, that's more of a competitor this season, isn't it?
Yeah, I think all tongue-in-cheek about what I just said there. I think it's more obvious that it's a case of a Premier League side. No matter how they look, I mean, they gave as good as they could against Man City, and all credit to them. But they're probably going to go down again this season. They're very favourite Sheffield United, and I suppose the playing opportunity is going to be not much different between the two clubs. It's probably purely the fact that at the last minute, Sheffield United went, we're interested in Luke Thomas. We want him on loan. Is he still available? Yes. Hold the line, please, caller. Leeds, piss off. He's not going to you. We're sending him to Premier. I say that a bit rushed and tongue in cheek, but that's what's happened there, isn't it? It's clearly choice of.
I do know what you mean. Okay, mate. Well, on the news of that, and on the news that it's just saying here that Enzo doesn't want Kelechi or Ndidi to go. We will find out, I'm sure, within the next 2 days. But you're going to be back. You've got a busy couple of days coming up. You're back tomorrow at 7 o'clock?
Yes, back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I am just, and you'll be glad to know this, I am just waiting on Craig to get back to me about his team because we're going to be doing that a different way in the preview show. We have got a whole podcaster coming on joining us for it. So that'll be fun as always. I get to use my little quiz skills to give them some questions on look ahead to Saturday's game. And then Friday, we have Mr. Steve Lyon X, all being well, joining us for the Predictions League show. It's a championship, so I'm not asked about winning it. It's not like I'm bottom or anything. It's just some championship, mate. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I'll win the Premier League one.
It's the Carabao Cup of the Prediction Leagues, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. I'm waiting till next season. I'm good at predicting the Premier League, but might all change.
Just a very, very quickie. Have I gone up or down the league this week?
I believe you're a non-mover. You might have gone up a place. I know you're still there or thereabouts of where you were last season. You're still in the European spots, I believe.
I'll take that.
Some positions have changed. Somebody may embarrassingly be bottom despite taking part in every week. Maybe we are. Maybe I am. Maybe it's not me. We'll find out on Friday. And then obviously I'll join you for hopefully what will be another happy Saturday for Leicester. With the watch-along. Which isn't on telly, so do come and check it out here, all of you.
It's not on telly. We want Newcastle versus Man City and Chelsea versus Brighton.
And anybody but us.
Yeah, well, basically anybody but us, yes. And don't forget, get over and subscribe to Brad's channel, LTID TV 2, as it is now called, for all women's football, WSL, and of course, all the quizzes. I'm sure you've got some of those lined up. Brad, thanks very much, mate. Have a good show tomorrow. And I might pop on and just test what we're doing, like you said the other day. But have a good one, mate. And I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care, everybody, and take care, mate.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks very much. Thanks to Brad. Oh, and don't forget, at Full-Time Focus is Brad's Twitter. The link is in the description below. Do get over there and give him a follow on Twitter. I keep saying Twitter, X, Twitter, you know what I mean. I think it'll be Twitter for a few years until we get used to it. Well, it's Liverpool away. It's nice to concentrate on the league, isn't it? This has been LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. That was Brad. I'm Chris. This is Arnie. Thanks very much. We will see you tomorrow at 7. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.